The Council's arrogance, the crystalline towers of Vorthos Prime, gleamed under twin suns as the Galactic Council convened for what would become the most consequential meeting in their 1,000-year history. Supreme Chancellor Vextar, his scaled hide bearing the ceremonial scars of countless victories, presided over the assembled representatives of 47 star systems. The massive holographic display at the chamber's center showed a small blue world orbiting an unremarkable yellow star. Earth, Vextar announced, his voice resonating through the chamber with the authority of absolute power. The final unclaimed system in Sector 7. Population approximately 8 billion. Technology level, primitive fossil fuel combustion and basic nuclear fission. Military capability, laughably inadequate. War Marshal Krenix, commander of the Vorthan Imperial Fleet, rose from his seat. His forearms gestured dismissively at the rotating image of Earth. My scouts report they still use chemical propulsion for their primitive spacecraft. Their largest vessels barely qualify as interplanetary shuttles. They have no orbital defense platforms, no energy shields, and their weapons technology is millennia behind our own. Intelligence Director Zilla activated her datapad, projecting streams of information around the Earth display. Our long-range surveillance confirms these assessments. The humans spend more resources on entertainment and sports than on military development. They maintain over 200 separate nations, constantly engaged in petty conflicts over resources and ideology. They are fractured, primitive, and entirely unprepared for galactic contact. A murmur of amusement rippled through the council chamber. These gatherings had become routine over the centuries. Another primitive world would be catalogued, subjugated, and integrated into the Vorthan Empire. The pattern never varied. Scout, assess, conquer, exploit. Their population density suggests significant resource potential, continued Zilla. Abundant water, diverse minerals, and a biosphere ripe for agricultural development. Standard colonization. Protocols should apply. Estimated resistance duration, less than 72 hours. Chancellor Vextar's reptilian features curved into what passed for a smile among his species. The humans appear to be typical carbon-based primitives. No doubt, they waste their time with concepts like art, philosophy, and individual freedom. Such species never prepare adequately for the realities of galactic politics. What the Vorthon leadership didn't know was that deep beneath the Colorado Mountains, Captain Elena Vasquez monitored their every word through Earth's most carefully guarded secret, a quantum communication network that had been intercepting alien transmissions for over 30 years. The chamber around her buzzed with activity as humanity's brightest minds analyzed every piece of intelligence flowing from the Galactic Council. They're taking the bait perfectly, Elena reported to Dr. James Chen, Earth's chief defensive architect. Every piece of misdirection we've fed their scouts has been accepted without question. Dr. Chen nodded grimly. 30 years of careful preparation. 30 years of appearing primitive while we developed technologies they can't even imagine. The greatest deception in human history is about to pay off. The Vorthan Council proceeded with their planning. War Marshal Krenix outlined the invasion strategy with the casual confidence of someone who had conquered dozens of worlds. We'll deploy 3 battle groups. The first fleet will eliminate their orbital infrastructure, though I doubt they have any worth mentioning. The second fleet will establish orbital supremacy and begin surface bombardment of military targets. The third fleet will handle occupation and resource extraction. How many ships do you anticipate needing? Asked Chancellor Vextar. Krennic's mandibles clicked in amusement. For a primitive world like Earth, perhaps 50 vessels, 100 at most, if we want to make an impression on neighboring systems. Unknown to the Vorthan commander, his assessment was being recorded and transmitted in real time to every major Earth defense installation. In underground bunkers across 6 continents, human military leaders listened to the aliens casually discuss the destruction of their world with the same tone they might use to plan a weekend outing. General Patricia Ayer, head of the Terran Defense Initiative, turned to her staff. They're planning to send 100 ships. Our intelligence suggests their total fleet strength exceeds 2,000 vessels across all occupied systems. This is their idea of a minor operation. Good, replied Admiral Sarah Mitchell, her scarred face bearing witness to decades of hidden preparation. Let them underestimate us. Let them think we're just another primitive species waiting to be conquered. They have no idea what's coming. Back on Vorthos Prime, the Council voted unanimously to proceed with Earth's subjugation. Intelligence Director Zilla presented her final analysis. The humans show no signs of advanced detection capabilities. Our approach should go unnoticed until we're already in their system. They lack any form of interstellar communication, so they won't be able to call for help. Not that any species would aid such primitives. Chancellor Vextar stood, his impressive height casting shadows across the chamber. Then it's decided. War Marshal Krennic, you have authorization to begin Operation Swift Harvest. Bring me this Earth, and let it serve as a reminder to any other primitive species that might dream of independence. The Vorthan fleet began assembling at the edge of their territory. Massive dreadnoughts, sleek destroyers, and countless support vessels formed the largest military formation seen in this sector for decades. The ships themselves were technological marvels, equipped with energy weapons that could reduce mountains to vapor, shields that could deflect asteroid impacts, and engines capable of crossing star systems in days. War Marshal Krennic stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternal Dominance, watching as the final vessels took their positions. Signal all ships, he commanded. We depart for Earth in 6 hours. This will be the shortest campaign in Vorthan history. What Krennic didn't realize was that Earth had been tracking his fleet's movements for weeks. Every ship's position, armament, and capability had been catalogued by quantum sensors, hidden throughout the galaxy. Humanity had spent 3 decades building the most sophisticated intelligence network in galactic history, all while maintaining the appearance of a primitive, divided species. Captain Alina Vasquez received the final intelligence update in her mountain bunker. All Vorthon vessels have been identified and targeted. Fleet composition: 57 heavy cruisers, 34 destroyers, 12 dreadnoughts, and support craft. Total enemy strength: 118 vessels. Dr. Chen reviewed the tactical display with satisfaction. Our ghost satellites have been feeding them false sensor readings for months. They think our orbital space is empty, except for a few primitive communications satellites. They have no idea about the defense platforms we've hidden in the asteroid belt, the weapon systems disguised as space debris, or the fleet we've been building in the outer system. The Vorthan fleet entered hyperspace, confident in their overwhelming superiority. They had conquered species with millions of years of spacefaring experience. They had subjugated civilizations that spanned multiple star systems. Earth, with its single world and primitive technology, represented nothing more than a routine expansion of their territory as the alien armada traveled through the void between stars. Earth's defenders made their final preparations. Admiral Sarah Mitchell reviewed the deployment status of humanity's secret fleet, 300 vessels built in hidden shipyards throughout the solar system, equipped with weapons technology that pushed the boundaries of physics itself. Humanity had learned from every species the Vorthons had conquered, studying their tactics, their weaknesses, their technology. Remember, Admiral Mitchell addressed her fleet commanders through encrypted quantum channels. We get one chance at surprise. 30 years of preparation comes down to the next few hours. Make every shot count. The Vorthon fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of Earth's solar system. War Marshal Krennic studied the tactical display with professional interest. The third planet showed the expected signs of primitive civilization, radio transmissions, basic satellite networks, and the heat signatures of industrial activity. Nothing suggested any capability for meaningful resistance. All ships advanced to orbital positions, Krennic commanded. Prepare to demonstrate Vorthon superiority to these primitives. Today, Earth learns its place in the galactic order. The massive alien fleet began its approach to Earth, unaware that they were flying directly into the most sophisticated trap in military history. Hidden sensors tracked their every movement. Concealed weapons systems powered up silently. And throughout the solar system, humanity's secret defenders moved into position. The trap was set. The prey had taken the bait. And Earth was about to show the galaxy that appearances could be very, very deceiving. The Reckoning War Marshal Krennic expected his arrival at Earth to be met with panic, desperate communications, and the frantic scrambling of a primitive species facing inevitable conquest. Instead, he found an eerie silence, no distress signals, no military mobilization, no attempts at communication. The blue world continued its ancient rotation, as if unaware that its fate had already been decided. Curious, Krennic muttered, studying his tactical displays. Their detection systems must be even more primitive than we thought. Signal the Second Fleet to begin establishing orbital supremacy. What Krennic interpreted as primitive ignorance was actually the calm before humanity's storm. Deep in her command bunker, Admiral Sarah Mitchell watched the Vorthon fleet position itself exactly where Earth's defensive strategists had hoped they would. The aliens had placed themselves in a perfect kill zone, surrounded by what they believed to be empty space. All stations report ready, came the voice of Commander Alex Rodriguez from his position aboard the hidden command vessel Shadow Strike. Ghost Fleet is in position. Orbital defense platforms are charged and targeted. Asteroid belt installations are online. Admiral Mitchell's voice carried the weight of 30 years of preparation. Today we show the galaxy that humanity will not be conquered. All units execute Operation Prometheus. The first indication that something was wrong came when Krennic's forward scouts simply vanished, not destroyed in battle, not overwhelmed by enemy fire. They simply disappeared from sensors as if they had never existed. Before the war, Marshall could process this anomaly. Space around his fleet erupted in impossible fire. Ships materialized from nothingness. Sleek vessels that seemed to bend light around their hulls emerged from quantum stealth fields that shouldn't have existed on a primitive world. They moved with precision that defied the tactical manuals of every known species, their formations flowing like liquid death through the Vorthon ranks. Impossible, Krennic roared as his flagship shuddered under impacts from weapons that his sensors couldn't even classify. Our intelligence showed no advanced shipbuilding capability. The answer came in the form of a transmission that cut through. Vorthan communications like a blade through silk. A human appeared on screens throughout the alien fleet. Admiral Sarah Mitchell, her steel-grey hair and unwavering eyes reflecting a lifetime of military service, spoke with deadly calm. "I am Admiral Sarah Mitchell of the Terran Defense Force. You have violated our space and threatened our world. You have made the fatal mistake of underestimating the wrong species. Surrender now, or face the consequences of your arrogance. War." Marshal Krennic's rage made his voice thunder across his bridge. "Surrender. We are the Vorthan Empire. We have conquered 100 worlds. Your primitive species cannot threaten us. Your intelligence reports showed exactly what we wanted you to see." Admiral Mitchell replied, her image now appearing on every Vorthan vessel. "Did you really think a species that survived ice ages, global wars, and planetary catastrophes would leave itself defenseless? We've been preparing for this moment since we first detected your empire's expansion." The tactical display revealed the truth that made Krennic's blood run cold. What his scouts had identified as primitive orbital debris were actually camouflaged weapon platforms. The asteroid belt, dismissed as navigational hazards, contained mining installations that had been secretly manufacturing ships and weapons for decades. The seemingly empty space around Earth buzzed with hidden defensive systems that were now revealing themselves with devastating effect. Commander Rodriguez coordinated the human counterattack from his stealth vessel. "Target their command ships. First, disable their communications. Make them fight as individuals, not as a coordinated fleet." The human weapons didn't just destroy, they adapted. Each shot analyzed Vorthon shield frequencies and adjusted accordingly. Missiles that seemed to think independently of their launchers pursued targets with relentless precision. Energy beams that bent through space-time itself bypassed defensive systems entirely. "How is this possible?" demanded Intelligence Director Zilla, as her own vessel came under attack from weapons that violated known physics. "No species develops this rapidly." The answer came from Dr. James Chen, whose face appeared on the Vorthon communication channels. "Most species don't spend their entire history competing with each other. We didn't just prepare for you. We prepared for threats you can't even imagine. Every human conflict taught us new ways to fight. Every technological breakthrough was weaponized. Every scientific discovery became a potential advantage. The Vorthan fleet, terror of a dozen sectors, found itself systematically dismantled by an enemy they had dismissed as primitive. Human ships moved through their formations like sharks through a school of fish. Each engagement revealed new capabilities, new weapons, new tactics that the aliens had never encountered. Captain Elena Vasquez, now aboard the command vessel Retribution, coordinated intelligence operations across the battlefield. Their formation is breaking down. 17 heavy cruisers destroyed, 23 damaged. They're trying to retreat to hyperspace. Negative. Admiral Mitchell responded firmly. "Let none escape to report our true capabilities." Today, the galaxy learns that Earth is not a victim. We are a predator that has been hiding among sheep. The battle, if it could be called that, lasted 47 minutes. The vaunted Vorthan fleet, pride of their empire, was reduced to scattered debris and a handful of fleeing survivors. Those vessels allowed to escape carried a very specific message. War Marshal Krennic's, his flagship, crippled but intact, sent his final transmission. "All Vorthan forces, priority alert. Earth is not what it appears. The humans are not primitive. They are not defenseless. They are apex predators masquerading as prey. Avoid the Sol system at all costs." As rescue operations continued around the debris field, Admiral Mitchell stood on her bridge looking out at the stars. Commander Rodriguez approached with casualty reports. "Ma'am, Vorthan forces have been neutralized. Our losses were minimal. 3 damaged vessels, no ships destroyed." Mitchell nodded, but her expression remained focused on the future. "Signal the outer system fleets. Begin Phase 2 of the expansion protocol. It's time the galaxy learned there's a new power rising." Rodriguez looked puzzled. "Ma'am, the expansion protocol." Admiral Mitchell smiled, and for the first time, it held no warmth. "Did you think we built 300 ships just to defend one world? We've been studying galactic politics for decades. We know which species are threats, which are potential allies, and which simply need to be reminded that predators don't always announce themselves." As human fleets began emerging from hidden bases throughout the solar system, the galaxy received its first lesson in human nature. Humanity had spent 30 years appearing weak, while becoming the most dangerous species in known space. They had industrialized paranoia, weaponized creativity, and turned their greatest weakness into their ultimate strength. The news spread throughout the galaxy like wildfire. The Vorthan Empire, feared by countless species, had been humbled by a world they thought was primitive. Ambassador Liu Wei, Earth's first official diplomatic representative, prepared for humanity's debut on the galactic stage. "The Galactic Council will want to meet with us immediately," Liu Wei reported to Admiral Mitchell. "Every species will want to know how we defeated the Vorthans so decisively." "Let them wonder," Mitchell replied. "Fear and respect often go hand in hand. We'll participate in galactic politics, but on our terms. The age of human victimhood is over." On Vorthos Prime, Chancellor Vextar faced the ruins of his fleet and the collapse of his empire's reputation. The species he had dismissed as primitive had revealed themselves as the most dangerous predators the galaxy had ever seen. The council chamber that had once echoed with arrogant laughter now buzzed with fearful whispers as words spread across the stars. One message became clear. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy not as a victim seeking protection, but as a predator claiming its territory. The species that had survived every catastrophe their own world could offer had emerged from the shadows, and the galaxy would never be the same. The humans had been laughing all along. They had simply been waiting for the right moment to share the joke.